welcome back to my space. As you can see, I'm channeling some very, very bright summer vibes. It's spring, spring has sprung. We are indeed outside. We are indeed wearing less and going out more, and the streets are calling, and I'm answering. 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I'm drinking wine because that's my business, and I'm drinking it out of a cup instead of a wine glass. That's also my business. So, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be talking about my relationship status, how I kind of embarked on this decision to kind of go about, you know, doing my own thing and exploring my own, possibilities and all of that. So, stay tuned. So, as you guys know, at the beginning of 2020, I was partnered, very happily partnered, in a relationship. And so, some people are wondering, like, are you still with that person? Did you move out? Is that why you decided to live alone? What was your ultimate reasoning? And so, kind of here to answer that today. Just to see if it'll, be a blessing to somebody else, if somebody else can kind of understand and resonate with, where I was at this time and why I chose to make the decision I did. Personally, for me, it has never been, and this is not like a brag or a flex, but it has never really been hard for me to meet people. I'm a very interesting person. I'm very impressionable. I have a lot to offer. I ask good questions. I'm engaging. I'm entertaining. So love itself has never really been hard for me to come by. It's really that relationship with myself that has required a lot more self-mastery than my relationship with others. I feel like I'm pretty good at creating a space for others, even if it needs growth, but I'm pretty good at having the desire to love others, right? Where I felt like I needed growth was loving on me and creating and cultivating that relationship fully with myself and what that looked like. So for me personally, about 4 to 5 months ago, I was already feeling very deeply that I wanted to kind of live alone. And though that relationship was never harmful, never bad, always good, we coexisted really well, I just, for some reason, just kind of felt within myself that I didn't want to come down the line in life and have certain regrets about not giving myself that space to live and to pursue the possibilities. And, relationships oftentimes are a great roadmap for you when you've already accomplished those things that you wanted to do, thought of doing. And for me, I feel like I haven't done everything I've thought of doing or want to do. And I feel like there were certain things and aspects of my personality that I really wanted to give a fair shot. And when you're in a relationship, you have to think about how is this going to work for us both. I during that space of that 4 to 5 months ago, when I thought about living by myself, I thought about, man, like, and sometimes as a young woman, the possibilities are what overwhelm you. I could go backpacking in Europe for 2 years. I can move to Africa and never come back here. I can, and maybe that's the the Sag cusp. Just like I just want to run away and just start new, and oftentimes when you have a home base, a child, a family, a partner, it kind of starts to make you second guess those opportunities. And I always knew that he was never in a space to want to hold me back. And so we sat down and had that conversation, and I just told him, look, like, before I really sit down permanently and just enjoy the simplicity of life, I want to know what those possibilities will and do look like. Like, I can move to LA and start acting. I can physically, humanly, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And for me, even now, that thought is overwhelming. But I think at that time, I knew that I needed to start somewhere, start by starting. So I knew the first step of that is to live alone and is to clear my headspace and figure out what are my next steps. Do I see myself staying in Texas for the duration? Do I see myself moving to another populated city such as New York, but maybe not New York exactly? When you are a free agent, you can pretty much pick up and start anew or do whatever it is that you feel is in your heart to do without that inclination of, I'm going to be affecting this person, I'm going to be stunting this person, I'm going to be stunting us, or what have you. So I just feel like ultimately I needed to pursue a deeper connection with myself totally before I pursued going into a stable, wholesome, healthy, flourishing relationship. So that's what I would say to my ladies. If you are in a space where you are happily partnered and there's nothing wrong with that relationship, to also be challenged to look within and see where you want to challenge that relationship with yourself. Do you want to pick up a new hobby? Do you want to go vegan? Do you want to go plant-based? Do you want to start working out more? Do you want to lead a class for a particular age group? Do you want to teach senior citizens Zumba? Like, there are so many ways that you can spark joy and that you can ignite a certain purpose in your life. And that's what I want to work on finding. And so, you know, now I kind of want to talk about what have been the benefits of me having this space, of me being in this mental space. And I think that one of the major things that I've been able to do being in this space is self-talk, is mirror talk, is self-empowerment. It's building the self-esteem, because when you're with somebody else who is empowering you and making you feel good, you pull on that physical encouragement and you know, put it within. But when you're by yourself and you learn that practice of speaking aloud and speaking positivity and speaking things, and just monitoring your thoughts, that have been a huge thing for me within this first week of living here. Because as I said, there are still loose ends. There are still things I think about. There are still things I care about. There's still, you know, lingering things that are still in the process of healing for me inside. So self-talk, you know, learning to build that self-esteem, creating a regimen. I am not successful without a regimen, and that's just me. Some people can wake up and say, I have this, this, and this to do today. Let me put my mind towards doing it. But for me, routine and establishing that routine is still something I'm working on, but I can definitely see being super effective for me in the future. But ultimately, that is why I made my decision. I personally felt like, you know, before I decided to really dive deep into love, because love comes to me naturally. I am love. What you are, you become. And it's never been hard for me to attract love. It's never been hard for me or for other people to be interested in me or be peculiar by me. But it's been harder for me to sustain that relationship with myself, and looking at what that growth pattern looks like for me in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, you know. So far, up until this point, I've genuinely just been surviving and thriving, just trying to make it from one moment to the next, right? But now I'm coming to the place where, okay, do I want to move in 2 years? Do I want to save up and move? Do I want to completely change careers and get into a whole nother skill set? You know, what is Jasmine wanting to do deep within that's gonna fulfill me, and that's gonna show me the road ahead and show me what I am truly capable of? Those were the questions I was asking myself when I considered living by myself. And so I'm super thankful to the question of, am I single? That person is 100% submitted and contributed to my growth. So at this time, I'm just thinking about me. At this time, I'm just focused on me totally. And what that looks like for me right now is doing the things I've never done. I'm on the dating apps. I'm on the apps right now. I'm doing things I've never done. I'm going on dates. I never knew how to date, y'all. Like, I would meet somebody and it would progress into something, and then we're together. Like, I've never just dated someone and said, you know what? This is my last time seeing you. It's been good. And just move on and just continue to have those conversations with different types of people and meet people. And ironically speaking, in a friendship sense with him, the more we've been able to give each other that freedom, the more I appreciate him, because that's how my love for people grows. And it convicts me too, because I had to kind of look back at some of the relationships I've had, whether friendship, relationship, that I did not love someone freely. I did not release them to do and go into whatever the next season looked like for them, and do that happily without thinking about what Jasmine wanted for them, or what Jasmine wanted them, what Jasmine wanted them to do, you know? So I want that free love. So I want to give that free love to other people. You know, I want to love people freely in such a way that they are submitted to their process. They're not thinking about me and how I'm going to feel and how I'm going to respond to what they have to do for themselves. They're thinking about where they're headed. So let me know in the comments below, you know, if you're partnered or if you're living with somebody or what you've learned. You learn a lot by living with somebody. It's very hard when you're not living with somebody and you can curate your tone and your attitude and your views on life before you see somebody, as opposed to when you first wake up. You learn a lot. So I just want to know from the ladies or men as well, what it's been like living solo. What have you learned about yourself that you're working on? And then also, you know, do you see yourself living out this life for a couple more years until you figure you out and explore the possibilities that you have to offer? So thanks guys for listening and watching, and I would love to know your comments below, and thank you again. Bye. And I'll also say this, like when you're in a foundational relationship that really teaches you self-love, you begin to believe in yourself. And I feel like with a lot of relationships in the past, I did not believe in myself. So they were useful to me at that time because I didn't see my self-worth yet. But as I built up my self-worth, as I build up my self-esteem, I realized I didn't need a relationship to make me feel complete and to make me feel like I was moving forward in life. So as he built me up and as I built myself up, I started to believe, man, I could really do this shit for real. I could get my own place. I can be by myself. I can be happy in my own presence. I can think about the possibilities and feel like they're all possible, you know? So I feel like self-worth and self-esteem and believing in yourself is a huge component to the shit as well, because when you step out and do something like this, you wake up every day with that encouragement that you can press on, that you can work, you can survive, you can sustain yourself, you can support your needs. And that had a lot to do with it as well. Even leading up to moving out, I had doubts. I was like, man, should I do this? Like, I'm comfortable right now. And he was like, you should. He encouraged me every step of the way. Yes, you should, because you need to know what it's like to sustain you and to take care of yourself. So that was just another additional thought. I had already wrapped up the video, but I just started to think about that. Believing in yourself, even, it doesn't matter what it is, bro, creatively, whatever, like believing in yourself is a huge, that's why I said it wasn't until I got into this place that I felt like I'd be able to do my videos again, because it would really show me like, wow, you're in here, you bought this place by yourself, this is yours. Like, it's so inspiring. And then it inspires other activities to take place, like getting back on here and talking to you guys and talking about what I've been through, you know, after the storm, after all of the heavy negative emotions. Now I'm here to say these are the positive aspects of me that I've nurtured during that time, you know, and have been able to see through. So it had a huge component of believing in myself. Do you really believe that you're capable of getting all the things that you want? Do you believe you deserve them? Like, do you believe that you deserve them? So for me, relationships used to be a crutch. They used to be something to support me as I was supporting myself or learning how. But when I realized that I can fully support myself and I didn't need somebody in my life to do that, that's when the floodgates started to open, and I started to find a healthy way to express to my partner that, hey, like, I think that I need to embark on this journey by myself. And of course, it has also a lot to do with who that person is too. If they're totally fulfilled in themselves, they're gonna want you to do whatever it is that you need to do for you, you know. And he was always encouraging because he was simply there to bear witness to my growth. He wasn't there to control it, to hinder it, to curate it to how he wanted to grow. He was there to foster my growth. Simple as that. So like I said, that was a conviction I had of like, am I here to foster people's growth? Or am I here to say, this is how you used to be, this is who you were with me, you know? Or am I holding other people back and in turn holding myself back? Because the best thing you can do is work on yourself.